Welcome everybody to Headlock Field, where in today's first round matchup in the Class A South playoffs is between the number 10 seed Noble Knights and the number 7 seed Portland Bulldogs. Both of these teams played each other, as did everyone played each other this year, which is good for playoff matchups. But in this particular matchup in the regular season, Portland ended up losing 6-3. They had a 3-1 lead going into the fifth when Noble scored 2 in the fifth and 3 in the seventh to ultimately win that game 6-3. So Portland looking to get a win back and in the most important game, which is the playoffs. But notably, Noble and Portland. So Noble was 4-0 after the win against Portland in the regular season, and Portland was 2-1 after that game. But it was a tale of two halves. Noble, since that game, went 3-9, and they have a current 3-game losing streak. And Portland is 7-4. So Portland took that loss to heart and won 7 out of games down the stretch, including a 6-game win streak. So Portland coming into this hot like they did last season, where they beat the number 2 seed in last year's playoffs. So they're hoping to get a magical run this year as well, but hopefully move on further than they did last year. And so we'll be back for starting lineups in a moment. So for Portland, they finished off with a record of 9-6-1 to earn them the 7th seed. In the last game they played, it was a 2-1 win against Chevrolet. It was a close game. It was a pitcher's duel until the bottom of the 6th, where Portland scored 2 runs. In the top of the 7th, Portland made it interesting, giving up a run, but ultimately won 2-1. And so that gives them the 7th seed and a home playoff game for the first round. And so they'll be coming in with a batting order of Colby Winship, Anthony Bisco, Henry Bebeau, Grant Crosby, Andrew Legier, Aiden DeMillo, Andrew Brewer, Ryan Becker, and James Jignack. On the other side of the field is Noble. They come into this game with a regular season record of 7-9, earning them the 10th seed. In the last game they played Gorham, and they got 10-run ruled. It was a 5-inning, 10-run rule loss for Noble. Gorham had scored 1 in the first, 3 in the second, and 6 in the third to give them that 10 runs. And so that earns them their 3rd loss in a row. And so they're going to look to get a win today, especially against a team that they've already beaten this year. And so they're going to look to repeat that game in terms of them scoring 6 runs. And so they'll be coming in with a batting order of Aiden O'Connor, Devin Place, Connor McCabe, Mason Matthews, Maxim Mace, Nathan Locke, Christopher Morton, Devin Ramsey, and Dominic Dumont.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we would invite you to please stand. The Maine baseball world lost a great one this morning. Vinny DiGifico passed away this morning at the age of 57. According to Portland coach Mike Rutherford, who had the pleasure of playing with him, DiGifico was the best hitter ever to come out of Maine. DiGifico was a star at the University of Southern Maine and later a longtime assistant coach there. Signed by the Boston Red Sox in 1987, DiGifico advanced to the Triple-A level before an injury ended his career. Would you please at this time observe a moment of silence in memory of Vinny DiGifico. Thank you. At this time, would you please remain standing as we honor America and those who protect her with the playing of our national anthem. The umpires for today's playoff contest, behind home plate, Mr. David Verrier, and on the bases, Mr. Gary Speed and Mr. Sean McCurdy.
Setting Portland defensively in the outfield left to right is Aiden DeMillo, Carter Page, and Andrew Brewer. In the infield left to right is James Gignac, Henry Bebeau, Anthony Bisco, and Grant Crosby. Behind the plate is Ryan Becker, and the starting pitcher for Portland is Colby Winship. Here we go for the start of this ball game. Leading things off for Noble is Aiden O'Connor. Gignac on the grass. It's hit to Crosby. It goes between his legs and into right field. So a quick error to start this game.
Well, you know, and the unfortunate part about that is it looked like it was hit with a little bit of English on it, and that ball was spinning. And sometimes it just spins the opposite direction of where you put your glove down.
So that brings up Devin Place.
And we'll keep our eye on the runner on first. Not a big lead.
And it's hit towards the third base coach,
who almost made a nice, I mean, it's a barehanded. That ball was hit pretty hard, too. So it was in and out of his hands.
So it's an 0-1 count to Place and a throw over to first to check on O'Connor.
And it looks like Noble is going to start swinging on early pitches. They're not going to let Winship get ahead of them.
And it's a bunt attempt. And it's...
Looked like it was foul tipped, maybe.
So it's an 0-2 count.
It didn't quite sound like it hit the bat, but it definitely hit home plate. So it had to go straight down.
And it's fouled back. So it remains an 0-2 count.
Beautiful day today.
And it's popped up, and it's foul. So place stays alive. And O'Connor slides back into first.
Yeah, beautiful day today. Whoever wins this game, it's supposed to be raining on Wednesday or Thursday, so it may mess up schedules later on this week.
And another pickoff attempt. And it's hit to Gignac, and it's by him. So that puts runners on first and second.
And the official scorer in the bleacher section here was just asked, and he hauled it up. E5, so 2 batters, 2 errors.
And so that brings up Connor McCabe with Aiden O'Connor on second and Devin Place on at first. And it was a bunt attempt that went foul.
Yeah, that was a high pitch. You almost, as a coach, you would hope your batter would hold up on that and not give a free strike there, because it definitely would have been a ball.
And Crosby is all the way in on the infield grass.
Did
And
that hit him?
That hit him. So bases are loaded.
Wow. This is not the way Portland wanted this game to start. I mean, the bases are loaded now. 2 errors and a hit batter. Oh, my.
So that brings up Mason Matthews.
And we're going to have a I'm not sure what the consultation is. The batter was definitely hit. Or are they discussing that he wasn't hit?
And so bases are loaded for Mason Matthews.
I mean, there is gamesmanship that a batter could pretend they got hit, but it definitely sounded like he got hit.
And that's into center field, and that's over the head of Page. So that's going to bring in O'Connor, Place, and McCabe gets held at third. And so a 2 RBI double by Matthews.
Now, that was hit a long way. I mean, it's 400 feet out to the center field wall. I'd have to say that ball, it kind of rolled out by the scoreboard. So, that was out there and over 300 feet hit.
So Maxim Massey can expand this lead and help himself out. And it's low and outside for ball 1.
Wow, what a quick start here for Noble. They are taking advantage of the mistakes of Portland right now.
And that one's ripped into right, where Brewer catches it for the first out, and that's going to bring in McCabe for the third run. So an RBI by Massey. makes it 3-0.
And only one out, and still a runner now at third base.
Nathan Luck.
And that brings up Nathan Locke. And that's fair ball.
No, he calls it foul.
Oh, it's a foul.
It almost looked like it went over the bag. I mean, if you were following the ball, it almost looked like it was going over the bag. But the umpire's right there. And today, I have to mention, we have 3 umpires where it's a playoff game. Normally, it's just 2.
So it's an 0-1 count. And that's on the outside corner for strike 2.
Well, and with this batter, a strikeout would be great, but a ground ball would be better because anything hit to the outfield is going to score another run.
And that's into center. And Brewer comes over and gets the out, and the throw is not in time. So that scores Matthews for the 4th run. So it's 4-0 Noble now.
All right, and as far as Portland right now, nobody's on base. They just need to say, okay, this is where the game starts, and to get this batter out.
And it's Christopher Morton who swings for strike 1.
I don't think anybody saw this happening.
It's a swing and a miss for strike 2. And that's hit in between Gignac and Babeau. So that is a 2-out single by Morton, bringing up Devin Ramsey.
Keep our eye out on the runner at first. He's got a good-sized lead.
It's right down the middle for strike 1.
Wow. And
and that's right to Gignac, who gets the 3rd out, but Noble puts 4 on the board with 2 hits, and they've capitalized on the 2 errors in the hit by pitch, and so after half an inning, it's Noble 4, Portland coming up. Setting Noble defensively in the outfield, left to right, is Devin Ramsey, Aiden O'Connor, and Jared Dumont. In the infield, left to right, is Mason Matthews, Devin Place, Dominic Dumont, and Christopher Morton. Behind the plate is Connor McCabe, and the starting pitcher for Noble is Maxim Massey. Here we go for the bottom of the 1st. Leading things off is Colby Winship for Portland. See if Portland can get back some runs.
I mean, they got 7 ups here. All they got to do is chip away. A run here and a run there. They don't.
Swing and a miss for strike 2.
They do not have to try to get them all back here in the bottom of the 1st. They just need to get them back.
And it's in the dirt for ball 1. It's a 1-2 count. It's outside for ball 2. evens the count at 2-2. And it's outside, and Winship checks his swing, and that makes it a full count. And that's hit to Dominic Dumont, who fires over to first for the first out.
Well, and I'd have to say, too, I would imagine where this is a playoff game, the strike zone is going to be a little bit more compact than it would be during a regular season game.
So Anthony Bisco comes up with one out.
Third baseman way in on the grass.
And it's in the dirt for ball one.
And both pitchers a little bit jittery here, throwing the ball in the dirt.
It's a swing and a miss for strike one.
And one's a wild. Batter number one with a ball, a strike, and one out. Thank you, Don.
It's outside for ball two. Two and one count. And a time called by Bisco. And that's hit to Dominic Dumont, and he gets him out.
Wow, that was a weird hop. That thing like exploded on him. I thought for sure it was going to be a nice easy hop, chest high. Next thing you know, it almost went over his head.
So Henry Bibeau comes up with two outs. It's right down the middle for strike one.
Nice pitch, dropped right over.
And that's hit to center where O'Connor gets the third out. And so a 1-2-3 inning for Noble. And after one complete, it's Noble 4, Portland nothing. Here we go for the top of the second. Leading things off is Dominic Dumont for Noble. And it's a pop-up line out for Crosby, who was backpedaling to get the out.
Well, and Noble starting off again, swinging at the first pitch.
And so that brings up the top of the lineup, and Aiden O'Connor. It's in there for strike one. Last time up, reached on an error and scored. And that's hit into right, and it's foul.
Into the net in front of the seats over there by the picnic area.
So it's an 0-2 count. It's fouled back. And it's a pop-up. It's in the field of play, and Becker gets the out, making it two outs.
And a nice pat on the back from his pitcher. You know, catching a pop-up by a catcher is a tough proposition because you got to go from a crouching position and then look straight up and find where that ball is and then run after it and catch it.
So with 2 outs, Devin Place is at the plate. It's on the outside corner for strike 1.
And you talk about communication. There's a lot of communication in the outfield. But as a catcher, you need a lot of communication from the bench.
And that's hit into center where Page lines it up and gets the 3rd out. And so a nice 1-2-3 inning for Portland. And we'll see what they can do in the bottom of the 2nd. But after 1.5 complete, it's Noble 4, Portland nothing. Here we go for the bottom of the 2nd. Leading things off for Portland is Grant Crosby. And it's fouled. It's an 0-1 count.
And Portland needed that last half inning to go 1-2-3 there for Noble. Nice quick half inning.
It's outside for ball 1.
And as I was saying earlier, that would have probably been called a strike during the regular season. That's how close it was.
And that's hit into right. And that's by Jared Dumont. And that Crosby is going to go 3. And we'll see what they score that. It's at least a... And it's a triple.
The official scorer in the stands calls it a triple. Yeah, that ball just, I mean, if the right fielder had gotten in front of it, he may have stopped it, but it skidded. I mean, the grass could be a little bit wet. I mean, we've had some foggy, wet nights here.
So that puts a runner 90 feet away for Andrew Legier, who's at the plate.
Oh boy, he smoked that one out to the bullpen. That was a line shot. Anywhere in between the outfielders, and he would have been running just like Crosby.
It's in the dirt for ball 1.
And the catcher for Noble's got to be so good back there. Noble does not want to give this run away on a pass ball or a wild pitch.
And it's in the dirt for ball 2. And it looks like Massey's trying to pitch away from Legier after that first pitch to this at bat. And that's a hit by Legier. And Legier's going to go 2. So an RBI double by Andrew Legier puts Portland on the board.
All right, and they've done it with no outs here in the bottom of the 2nd with a runner now in scoring position. Well, and as you said in between innings when we were off air, Seth, all they have to do is start stringing some hits together, and it looks like they might have listened to you.
And so that brings up Andrew Brewer, who fouls it for strike 1.
Well, and as we've seen Portland throughout the season, 4 runs is not a lot to come back from.
And it's in and out of the glove of McCabe.
And Oh, that was called a ball. Almost looked like it was over the plate, and maybe the umpire lost it also. But it's called a ball.
It's outside for ball 2. It's a 2-1 count. And that's going to be by Dominic Dumont, and that's going to bring in Legier. So that's 2 quick runs for Portland. So an RBI single for Brewer.
The catcher, number 21, Ryan Becker.
And that brings up Ryan Becker.
Good sized lead at first. Pitcher looking over.
It's outside for ball 1.
Still nobody out.
Throw over attempt is not in time. And it's hit to Massey, who throws over to first to get Becker out. So that moves over Brewer.
Baseman number 4, James Gignac.
And so that brings up James Gignac with 1 out. Runner in scoring position. And it's
The shortstop lost track of outs. He was so excited that he picked him off. He started running towards the dugout, but it's only 2 outs.
so that makes it's hit to Place, who fires over for the 3rd out.
Wow. Noble helped themselves out there in this half inning.
And so after 2 complete, it's Noble 4, Portland 2. Here we go for the top of the 3rd. Leading things off for Noble is Connor McCabe, who got hit by a pitch his first at-bat. It's in the dirt for ball 1.
And he came around and scored.
Yes, he was one of the 4 runs. It's in the dirt for ball 2. It was the first 4 batters scored for Noble. It's a swing and a miss for strike 1. It's in the dirt for ball 3. And that's hit to Bebeau, fires over to get the first out.
The third baseman, number
And after that first inning,
Matthews.
Winship has definitely settled down, not allowing the Noble batters to crank the ball off their bat. High and inside for ball 1 to Mason Matthews.
Well, and the thing, too, is His defense needs to tighten up a little bit.
It's in the dirt for ball 2. It's a 2-0 count.
And I've noticed Winship is throwing a few extra pitches to these batters too.
It's in there for strike 1. And that's hit to Jignac, who fires over for the second out.
The Noble pitcher, number 11, Maxim Massey.
So Maxim Massey is up with 2 outs. It's a swing and a miss for strike 1. And that's into right field for a 2-out single by Massey.
The designated hitter,
Bringing up Nathan Locke. It's down low for ball 1.
Massey with not big of a lead out there.
It's down the middle for strike 1. It's a 1-1 count. Especially with a lefty, it's tough to gauge. Oh, and it hits him. And they got him stealing, but the throw to second hit Massey's helmet.
Yeah, and I was a little distracted. Sorry about that. I didn't get the throw over to first. Did get the throw down to second.
So it's a stolen base. It's on the outside upper corner for strike 2. And it's step off by Winship. And that's hit into left, where DeMillo runs back and gets the third out. And so after letting a 2-out single, it's no damage for Portland. And after 2.5 innings, it's Noble 4, Portland 2. Here we go for the bottom of the third. Leading things off is Carter Page. On the inside corner for strike 1. And that's hit to place, and it's not in time.
Great hustle, and the ball, it's unfortunately for the shortstop, that's one of those in-between hops. He could have charged it and possibly misplayed it, but he waited on it, and unfortunately it got there to him too slow to throw the runner out.
And so that brings up Colby Winship.
And the runner at first has got a good-sized lead.
And it's just foul.
It almost sounded like it hit off his foot. A home plate.
So it's an 0-1 count. It's outside for ball one. It's a 1-1 count.
What's good about this umpire is you can hear him. When the ball is outside or inside, you can hear him say it's outside or inside.
It's a check on Page. It's outside for ball two. And that's hit to Massey, who gets the double play.
Wow. Holy smokes. That was beautiful. I mean, the pitcher had to be composed there and throw a nice throw to the shortstop, which he did. That was beautiful.
So Anthony Bisco comes up with 2 outs. And that's just out of the glove of Dominic Dumont.
And let me just say that during pregame batting practice, he had one of his teammates hit him a ball exactly like that, and he caught it. That much I do remember. That was a great play. Unfortunately, when you stretch out like that, sometimes the ball doesn't stay in your glove.
So that brings up Henry Bebeau with Bisco on at first. It's down the middle for strike one. And it's hit to Place, who flips it to second for the third out. And Portland can't capitalize on a leadoff single. And so after 3 complete, it's Noble 4, Portland 2. Here we go for the top of the fourth. Christopher Morton leading things off. And that's just out of the reach of Crosby at first. So it's an 0-1 count.
And this game is moving along fairly quickly. Of course, when a broadcaster says anything like that, it usually adds an hour to a game, but we're not the Red Sox-Yankees game.
It's a swing and a miss for strike 2. It's up high. It's a 1-2 count. It's in the dirt for ball 2. In the dirt for ball 3. So that makes it a full count. And that's by Gignac into left. And that's going to be a double by Morton. And that brings up Devin Ramsey.
And Crosby way in on the grass. I'm thinking it's going to be a bunt to try to move him over, but you never know.
And it is. And Winship picks it up and throws it to Bisco, who covers first base. And looked like he had to step off for a brief moment, but tapped first.
So Noble playing small ball here to try to get one of those runs back.
And so that brings up Dominic Dumont.
Infield in.
It's inside for ball one.
Anything to the outfield, and they're going to score a run here. They hoping it's going to be a nice, easy grounder or
And
a nice
it's
pop-up.
Fouled. It's a 1-1 count. And for Portland, they need a strikeout or a ground out in this situation. And that's into the outfield, which is going to score another run. So an RBI single for Dominic Dumont makes it 5-2 Noble. Bringing up Aiden O'Connor.
So the bunt moving him over pays off.
And it's another bunt. Winship picks it up and throws it to first for the second out.
Well, that's an interesting call. But, you know, anything hit to the outfield, in between the outfielders, they're going to score another run. So, I mean, I think that's what they're playing for here. They're willing to give an out to try to get a run.
So Devin Place comes up.
And that's what you can do when you're leading.
It's hit foul.
You know, if you have confidence in your batters that they're going to be able to move a runner over, then you don't mind giving up an out to move a runner up on the bases.
It's outside for ball one. It's a 1-1 count. And it's step off by Winship. Another step off. That's hit foul. It's a 1-2 count. That's hit to Gignac, who fires over to get the third out. But not after Noble puts one more on the board. And after 3.5 complete, it's Noble 5, Portland 2. Here we go for the bottom of the fourth. Leading things off is Grant Crosby.
Well, and Nobles dug that hole a little deeper for Portland.
That's hit foul.
He just put a dent in the Expo.
Crosby started off the 2-run bottom of the second with a triple. Outside for ball one. It's a 1-1 count. It's a swing and a miss for strike 2.
He had him fooled. That ball started out over the plate and dropped like a brick.
It's up high for ball 2.
And we have somebody warming up in the bullpen for Portland.
That's into right, and it hits the ground. Looked like Jared Dumont was slowing down, not wanting to hit the wall.
Yeah, there's about 4 feet out there, warning track, and you know there is padding on the wall, but you still don't want to run into it.
It's a swing and a miss. And it's in and out of the glove of McCabe, but he picks it up and tags Crosby for the first out.
Well, and you know you don't want to really have to throw the ball down to first, so that was made easy.
And that was the first strikeout of this game for both teams.
Wow.
And that brings up Andrew Legier with 1 out. It's right down the middle for strike 1.
That is amazing. That's the first strikeout. Wow. You know, I'm over here running the camera and color commentating and not paying attention to the stats. So thanks, Seth.
And that's into left, and that's going to be over the head of Ramsey. So that's going to be a stand-up double by Legier.
Boy, I have to tell you, we have seen some long, hard-hit balls in this ball game.
So that brings up Andrew Brewer, who has a chance to get the run back that they let up in the top of this inning. It's outside for ball 1.
You know, and these outfielders, they do have to worry about balls dropping in front of them, not so much going over their heads, but today they're going over their heads.
And that's into left. And it's foul.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate play. That might have been a heck of a play, but you can't see around that corner. And it looks like maybe he ran into the wall over there. And as I said with right field, it's the same with left field. There's a little bit of warning track over there, about 4 foot. And then you just run into the wall.
There's probably less space between the wall and the line than there is in right field.
Now, watching the Red Sox play Oakland, in Oakland there's like 50 feet everywhere from the line to the stands. I mean, there's so much space on the field in Oakland. You could pop the ball up and get the guy out by a mile.
It's a 2-1 count. It's outside for ball 3. And that's right up the middle. And that's going to score Legier. So Portland gets the run back that they let up, bringing the lead down to 2.
The catcher, number 21, Ryan Becker.
So Ryan Becker at the plate.
Halfway decent lead at first.
And it's a swing and a miss. And the throw is in the outfield. So a stolen base by Brewer.
Well, and I have to say, too, that Becker was smart. And, you know, because he's a catcher and he knew the runner was going to take off, he swung at it. He didn't give it a wholehearted swing, but he swung enough that, you know, it didn't give the catcher, for Noble, a chance to get a clean throw down to second base. So that's a heads-up play by the batter who happens to be a catcher and knows those things.
It's in the dirt for ball 1. It's a 1-1 count.
And it's those little things right there that can really help your team.
It's in the dirt for ball 2. And that's going to move over Legier as Place throws it to first. Or Brewer, sorry. As Place throws it to first for the second out.
The third baseman, number 4, James Gignac.
And so James Gignac will be up with 2 outs. And that's hit foul. And if that was in fair territory, that had a chance to roll all the way to the wall. And that one's over the head of Dominic Dumont. So an RBI single by Gignac makes it a 5-4 score line. So 2 runs in the bottom of the second, and so far 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth, bringing up Carter Page.
Runner on first with a halfway decent lead.
And that's to Place, who fires over to first to get the third out. But Portland is making this game interesting after scoring 2 runs. And after 4 complete, it's Noble 5, Portland 4. Here we go for the top of the 5th. Leading things off for Noble is Connor McCabe. It's up high for ball 1.
Well, Portland's filling that hole in that they dug themselves in.
It's down the middle for strike 1. It's a 1-1 count. And this Portland team all year has shown that they can score runs in bunches. And so they're never out of a game. It's in the dirt for ball 3. It's a 3-1 count. That's into left center where DeMillo gets the out. So that's one away with Mason Matthews at the plate.
The third baseman, number 15, Mason Matthews.
It's up high for ball 1. It's ball 2. And it drops in there on the inside corner for strike 1. It's in there for strike 2.
Well, Winship painted the corners on those last 2 pitches. That's exactly what he needs to do.
It's in the dirt for ball 3. It's a full count. And that's into center where Page tracks it down for the second out.
The pitcher, number 11, Maxim Massey.
So that brings up Maxim Massey with 2 outs. And that's into right center where Brewer runs it down for the third out. And so all 3 outs go left to right.
3 up and 3 down.
And after 4.5 complete, it's Noble 5, Portland 4. Here we go for the bottom of the 5th. Leading things off is Colby Winship. Right down the middle for strike 1. It's a swing and a miss for strike 2. And that's to Place. And Place bobbled it, ranging to his left. So it's an error on Devin Place.
Yeah, and if he would have just picked it up after the first bobble, he still may have had him. But Winship's a good runner.
Anthony Bisco.
So Anthony Bisco at the plate with Winship on at first.
And we'll see if Portland could pick up runs off errors the way Noble did.
And a bunt attempt is pulled back. So it's a ball up high.
You know, and with no outs right now, the key is to get Winship down to second, however they can do that.
And it's up high again.
Well, and this is, you know, the pitcher has to understand the batter wants to give themselves up here. And all the pitcher has to do is oblige. Just throw the ball over the plate.
It's up high for ball 3. So,
I mean, the catcher's got to go out there and just say, hey, just throw it over the plate.
and Bisco wants to move the runner over to second.
I mean, you know, he could throw it over the plate and he could pop it up and the catcher could get him out. I mean, and the runner doesn't move over.
It's up high for ball 4.
That is amazing.
So Winship does move to second, but there's no outs.
Shortstop number 33, Henry Bebeau.
And that brings up Henry Bebeau with the tying run at second. It's in the dirt for ball 1.
You know, and at this point, Noble's just hoping they can weather this storm.
It's on the outside corner for strike 1. It's a 1-1 count. It's on the outside corner for strike 2. And that's place, and it's not in time to get Bisco. So an infield single by Bebeau.
Well, and the thing, too, is that although Place didn't get anybody out, he saved the tying run from scoring. Because if that ball had gotten by him, the runner was going to score.
So Grant Crosby comes up with the bases loaded, and not sure if this is going to be a talk or a pitching change, but we'll be right back. And we're back. Let's see what the mound visit comes out of this. It's a foul tip for strike 1 to Grant Crosby. It's a swing and a miss for strike 2. And it's just outside for ball 1.
You could hear the Portland side, the fans holding their breath on that one.
It's up high for ball 2.
Nobody warming up for Noble. And the shortstop, didn't ask for time, but he was tying his shoe as the pitcher's getting ready to pitch.
It's in the dirt for ball 3. So what looked like a strike 3 call that was called a ball turns into a full count.
Well, the payoff pitch here for Portland in so many ways.
And it's a swing and a miss for strike 3.
Ooh, that was a huge Beautiful pitch by the Noble pitcher.
So that puts one away with Andrew Legier.
And now I think we're going to have a pitching change. Yep.
And we'll be back to sort out all the changes. And we're back. Just a swap. Aiden O'Connor comes from center field to pitcher, and Maxim Massey goes to center from pitcher. And that's hit over the head of Ramsey. It was off his glove, and that's going to give Portland the lead. So Andrew Legier coming up huge in this game.
Wow, he toasted it over the top of the left fielder's glove. Didn't have a chance on that one.
So that brings up Andrew Brewer. And that puts Legier at 3 triples on this game, 3 doubles on this game with 3 RBIs. It's a 1-0 count. It's fouled back. It's a 1-1 count. It's a foul tip for strike 2. It's a 1-2 count.
Well, the battling Portland Bulldogs never gave up after putting 4 runs. After Noble put up 4 runs before Portland even had a chance to hit.
And that's to Place, who fires over to get the second out. But that scores Bobo, making it 7-5. And moving Legier over to third.
Well, and they'll trade an out for a run any day of the week.
So Ryan Becker comes up with 2 outs. And that's in and out of the glove of McCabe, but not far enough for Legier to score. It's a swing and a miss for strike 1. It's a 1-1 count. And a time called.
Well, this is very interesting. They want to talk to the batter. It's a 1-1 count. I'm wondering, they're going to try a squeeze play? What do you think? I mean, they are up by 2 runs. Do they want to take a chance? But this is a real interesting visit between the coach, the first base coach, and the batter. And it's a long discussion. All right, let's see what comes out of this one. I mean, the third baseman is playing. He's playing back. He's not.
And a time called by Becker. It's on the inside corner of the plate for strike 2.
Well, I don't know what that conversation was about, but it didn't show up on that one.
And it's a swing and a miss for strike 3. And so Portland scores 3 in the bottom of the 5th to take their first lead of this game. And after 5 complete, it's Portland 7, Noble 5. Here we go for the top of the 6th. Leading things off for Noble is Nathan Locke. It's low for ball 1. Colby Winship still in there. And that's ripped into left. So a leadoff single by Locke.
And you wonder how short of a leash. Well, as I speak, here comes the pitching. Here comes the coach. And we're going to have a pitching change. And I think, yes, and we'll be back.
And we're back. Christopher Morton at the plate. And Morton hits it out to left. And it's over the head of Page. And that's going to be a double by Morton. Putting the tying run at second.
Wow, just like that. Whew.
And so the changes for Portland, Aiden DeMillo comes from left to pitch. Regan Buck goes to center, and Carter Page goes from center to left. It's ball 1 to Devin Ramsey.
Well, and Noble is not giving up.
It's over the plate for strike 1.
Yeah, he check swinged, and I think it hit off the bat.
And that's into right where Brewer and he's safe. The ball got out of Becker's glove, so it wouldn't have mattered if the tag was on time.
Yeah, I think he got his hand in there just in time. I think his fingertips were touching the plate just as he hit him. So they got a run back. Boy, oh boy, this is a good game.
So Dominic Dumont comes up with 1 out. Morton on at second.
The tying run out there at second with only 1 out.
Swing and a miss for strike 1. It's over the inside corner of the plate for strike 2. It's up high for ball 1. It's a 1-2 count. And it's a foul tipped for Portland's first strikeout of the game.
And that in itself is amazing, too. That here we are in the top of the sixth, and it's the first strikeout that a Portland pitcher has thrown. And it wasn't Winship, it's DeMillo.
So on the 17th out, it was a strikeout. It's a swing and a miss by Aiden O'Connor. It's a 0-1 count. Up high for ball one.
I don't think we've seen DeMillo pitch this season. At least here at home. He may have on the road.
It's a swing and a miss for strike two. Yeah, this is normally when Bebeau comes in, but it might have been a little too early to bring him in. And that's into right, where Brewer lines it up and gets the third out. And so after letting off the first two batters getting a hit, Portland minimizes the damage to 1 run. And so after 5.5 complete, it's Portland 7, Noble 6. Here we go for the bottom of the sixth. James Gignac leading things off for Portland. So the winner of this game is going to be playing Falmouth, who won 10-0 over Massabesic. It's hit foul. It's an 0-1 count. And that's popped up and just into the stands on the third base side. So an 0-2 count to Gignac. And it's hit foul again to the third base side.
And he's hit all three pitches about in the same exact spot.
And that's to Place, who gathers, throws it over to first for the first out. Bringing up Carter Page.
The center fielder, number 3, Carter Page.
It's on the outside corner for strike one. And that's into left field for a one-out single. And that brings the top of the lineup for Portland with Colby Winship at the plate.
Number 11,
It's in the dirt, and Page takes off. And it's not in time. So an insurance run is in scoring position. It's a 1-0 count. It's in the dirt for ball 2. And it's a time called to allow the catcher to gather himself. And that's to Place, who fires over to get the second out. But that moves Page over to third.
The second baseman, number 1, Anthony Bisco.
And Place has been busy today.
Big insurance run down there at third base.
It's in the dirt for ball 1 to Anthony Bisco. And Devin Place has been involved with 10 of the outs for Noble. It's down the middle for strike 1. And that's past Place, and that's going to score a run for Portland. So Bisco with an RBI single. Getting that run back that they let up in the top of this inning.
Well, now Noble's dug themselves into a hole. Portland dug themselves out, and now Noble is in that hole.
And Henry Bebeau is up. And it's hit into center where Massey gets the catch for the third out, but Portland puts a run on the board, and after 6 complete, it's Portland 8, Noble 6. Here we go for the top of the 7th. Devin Place is up, and he hits it into right for a leadoff single. Some changes in fielding. Aiden DeMillo's back in left. Carter Page is back in center. Anthony Bisco's now at short. Ethan Terrio is at second. And Henry Bebeau is pitching. And a pickoff attempt to Place with Connor McCabe up at the plate.
Well, Noble doesn't want to go quietly here.
Outside and low for ball 1.
Runner at first with a decent-sized lead.
It's up high for ball 2.
And what Bebeau needs to remember, and I'm sure he does, is that the runner on first means nothing right now. It's get the batter out.
And that's past Terrio. So back-to-back singles.
Yeah, that Pepper and Porterio over there. Just out of the reach of 2 ground balls. They're like, welcome to second base, and here you go.
And Mason Matthews at the plate with Place on at second and McCabe on at first. Low and outside for ball 1. Up high for ball 2.
And there's a little bit of pacing going on down there at the Portland dugout.
It's in there for strike 1.
And there is a huge hole now between first and second.
And it's over the head of Matthews.
And, you know, he tossed his bat. It's only ball 3. He either thought it was ball 4 or he tried to play like he got hit in the helmet, but you didn't hear a thing.
And it's ball 4. So bases are loaded.
Holy smokes. Wow. Noble not going quietly. The tie-in run is now at second base with nobody out. Wow. Do we have a ball game here?
And Maxim Massey is up. And the first pitch is a ball. So it's 1-0 count. It's fouled. It's a 1-1 count. Just like in the Portland Chevrolet game, Portland made it interesting in the top of the 7th. And that's the Terrio who flips it to second for the out.
Wow. Almost got the runner at third, which would have been disastrous for Noble. But they score a run. And now the tie-in run is down to third. Nice play by Terrio to get the runner out at second.
And so Nathan Locke is up with 1 out.
And runners now on the corners.
It's up high for ball 1. It's fouled back. It's a 1-1 count. It's low for ball 2.
And I'm assuming the runner is not going to take off from first, but you never know.
And he does. Massey takes off, and it's in center. And that's going to tie the ball game up. So a sacrifice fly by Locke ties the game up. So Christopher Morton's up with 2 outs. Throwover's not in time.
Well, and Bobo throwing over there has got to be real careful, too. He does not want that ball to get away at all.
And that's right to Bisco for the 3rd out. But Noble puts 2 on the board to tie the ball game. And so after 6.5 complete, it's Portland 8, Noble 8. Here we go for the bottom of the 7th. Leading things off is Grant Crosby, who had a triple in the 2nd and struck out the last 2 at-bats. It's in the dirt for ball 1. And for Noble, if Crosby gets on, probably the hottest hitter in today's game is on deck. It's over the plate for strike 1. So inside for ball 2. And that's into left field. So a leadoff single by Crosby. Which brings up Andrew Legier, who's 3 for 3 with 3 doubles and 3 RBIs. Down low for ball 1. And that's it's
Yeah, I think he caught it but dropped it and ended up getting the lead runner out. And are we going to have a... No, we're not going to have a pinch runner.
Right fielder, number 27, Andrew Brewer.
so Andrew Brewer comes up. With 1 out. It's a swing and a miss. It's an 0-1 count. And that's popped up. And that's caught by Ramsey.
Boy, what a beautiful catch.
So that puts 2 away.
Well, that's a game-defining catch right there.
Your attention, please, batting for Becker. Number 9, Mason Rang.
Mason Rang is batting for Ryan Becker.
If Noble ever needed a big play, that was it.
Portland with a leadoff single. And some misfortunate plays. It's in the dirt for ball one. And Legier takes off, but it's popped up. And Place calls everyone off to get the third out. And so we're heading to extra innings. And after 7 complete, it's still tied 8-8. Here we go for the top of the 8th. Leading things off is Devin Ramsey.
And we have free baseball. Left fielder playing in.
It's on the outside corner for strike one.
In fact, all the outfielders are playing in. Little risky.
It's up high for ball one. It's a 1-1 count. And that's Taterio, who is just out of the reach. So it's a leadoff single for Ramsey.
The second baseman, number 8, Dominic Dumont.
Dominic Dumont at the plate with Ramsey on at first. And it's a bunt attempt, and it's fouled. So it's an 0-1 count.
Well, and at this point, it only takes 1 run to win this ball game. And Noble looks like they're going to try to be the first to 1. Moving the runner over. Let's see if he does it again.
And it's a throw-over attempt. Not in time. It's a ball up high.
Well, the batter wants to give himself up, and it's up to Bobo to throw the ball over.
And it's a strike.
Wow.
So
tried to bunt a ball up by his eyes.
and he's bunting again.
It's a 2-2 count.
And it's a ball up high. So it's a 3-2 count. And if I were Bobo, he's still bunting with 2 strikes. So if he fouls it off, it's called third strike.
Wow. That is a gift for Portland. That is a really big gift.
The pitcher, number 2.
And so that brings up Aiden O'Connor.
Wow.
It's up high for ball 1.
Well, no risk, no reward, and that's what Noble tried for, the reward.
And Ramsey takes off, and the ball's in center. But Page backs up. And not sure what is
No.
it, interference?
All right, not quite sure what happened.
It's a 2-0 count to.
So I wonder if it was some sort of an interference out there with the runner.
And it's a foul tip for strike 1. It's fouled back.
2s across the board. Batter number 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Thank you, Don.
It's up high for ball 3. It's a full count.
So this has been a very interesting inning for Noble.
And it's fouled back. So it remains a 3-2 count. It's in the dirt for ball 4. And the umps are talking again.
And it wasn't ball 4. Wow. This game is taking so many twists and turns. So now we're going to have a discussion. Was it ball 4? Was it not ball 4? I thought it was ball 4.
So it's a full count. And now it's ball 4.
And we're going to have a pinch runner.
The shortstop, number 10, Devin Place.
Number 5.
And that is Adam
Your attention, running
Dumont.
O'Connor, number 5, Adam Dumont.
This has been a long half inning. And now we're going to have a mound visit. Just when you didn't think this half inning could get any longer, it's getting longer, and we'll be back. I think we're gonna have a pitching change. Yes, we're gonna have a pitching change, and we'll have Seth tell you what's going on when we get back.
And we're back. So Liam Winship comes in to pitch. Henry Bebeau goes back to short, and Anthony Bisco goes back to second. With Devin Place at the plate. It's ball one. And this is only the fourth batter this half inning. It's up high for ball two.
And we've been here for a while. Earlier in this game, I joked about this game going quick, and I said that's bad luck. It's not the Red Sox Yankees, but it's looking like that now.
Swing and a miss for strike one.
Length of game wise, I mean.
And that's up the middle. So 2 on for Noble.
Okay, go ahead, run.
Bringing up Connor McCabe.
The catcher, number 6, Connor McCabe.
Well, Portland's got to play flawless in the field now.
And that's to Crosby, who gets the third out. And so Portland, after a long half inning with an interference, and was it a walk? Was it not a walk?
And the bunt attempt on the third strike.
And all that craziness results in no runs for Noble. And so after 7.5 complete, it's still tied 8-8. Here we go for the bottom of the 8th. James Gignac leading things off for Portland. Portland once again has a chance to walk this thing off. And that's how you start, with Gignac getting a leadoff single.
All right, now let's see if Portland tries to do what Noble couldn't do and bunt the runner over.
And it's a pinch runner. It's Dominic Moffo.
First base, number 6, Dom Muffo.
All right. So let's see if this is going to be small ball, move the runner over.
Carter Page at the plate.
The center fielder, number 3, Connor Page.
It's up high for ball one.
And no indication that he was bunting. The coach probably told him take the first pitch.
It's right down the middle for strike one. It's a 1-1 count. It's a bunt, And that's going to move the runner to second. So the game-winning run
Beautiful bunt.
is now at second. And so that brings up Liam Winship,
who just came into the game as the pitcher, and he could win the game for himself. Outfielders are playing deep for Noble.
and it's popped up. And O'Connor calls everyone off for the second out.
Wow, huge out for Noble.
And that brings up Anthony Bisco.
The Bulldogs' second baseman, number 1, Anthony Bisco.
And I'm surprised that the outfielders are playing so far back, because if it gets by them, the game's over.
Or a little bloop. But, you know, they can't let anything get by them, but a little bloop single's going to win this ball game.
Outside for ball one. Swing and a miss for strike one. It's a 1-1 count. It's on the outside corner for strike two. It's outside for ball two. It's a 2-2 count with 2 outs. And that's over the head of Place. And that Moffo comes in to score, and Portland wins.
Oh,
So Bisco is getting crowded at first base after a game-winning single.
wow. One of those in-between hops that just eats up an infielder. Not much he could do about that one. Wow, that's unfortunate for Noble, but very fortunate for Portland.
And both teams played hard this game. And you just gotta, both teams, especially Portland, doesn't need to put their heads down, but neither does Noble. Noble played a tough game, especially scoring 2 in the top of the 7th to extend this game.
Yeah, this was a great game. This is a classic preliminary round game for the playoffs. And, you've been getting tweets and stuff of other games being played today, and the other games that 10-run ruled and big wins. It's very nice to see a very close game. And as someone who covers Portland, like we do, we're very happy that Portland has won, is going to continue on. But, Noble, they really gave it to Portland, and they didn't have any quit. And, the way the ball was hit to the shortstop, You know, I don't think there was anything he could have done, even if he stopped it.
But Portland definitely they were down 4-0 early, and they chipped away, and they ended up getting a 2-run lead twice. In the bottom of the fifth, scoring 3 runs, and Noble scored to make it 8-. And then Portland, the name of the game was "What you can do, we can do better." I mean, Noble scored 1 in the fourth. Portland scored 2 in the fourth. And then Portland scored 3. So Portland definitely with comeback mentality. And that showed in the final score. And so Portland, with a walk-off victory, puts them into the next round against Falmouth. And so saying so long, this has been a production of TV3 Portland Public Schools, saying good night.